Okay, chapter 12 on the Federal Reserve. Okay, so you just got to understand um, inflation. Basically, prices tend to go up over time. We're seeing that inflation doesn't play out the same with all products, and we'll have to look at why that is a little bit later. But there is something. But another way of looking at it is your dollar doesn't mean as much as time goes on. So dollar's value is decreasing. Okay, so when there's more money in circulation, then there are more dollars bidding for the same number of products. Therefore, things cost more over time. Okay, so every country has to deal with inflation, and so they gotta maintain the money supply adequately. Okay, the Federal Reserve, it's also known as the Fed. It functions as America's bank. So everything that a bank would do for a customer, the Fed does for our government. Okay, so um, monetary policy, which we're going to look at what that is in just a little bit. They're the ones that make sure the banks do things according to the law. And the Fed isn't the only government agency looking at the banks. Just as when you're driving on a freeway, highway patrolmen might be there to monitor the rules and laws and all that, but so would the police or a sheriff or even a or a federal trooper, or a federal marshal or something like that. They're all there to enforce law. So the Fed is just one of the entities of the government that regulates banks. There are multiple watchdogs. Okay, and there is a governing board, and the president appoints the members, and then the Senate confirms them for 14 years. It's a long term. And so Ben Bernanke is getting ready to step down from the Fed, and I believe Janet Yellen is going to be taking his place. Federal Reserve um, can create money. Now, you need to understand that most of the money in circulation is now digital. It's electronic. We do not have cash, meaning hard currency, printed currency, circulating for all the money in circulation. So it is possible for the government to make money, and it's also possible for banks themselves to create their own money. And so I'm going to show you how that works in just a bit. So they do it through fractional reserve banking. Basic idea is if you put $100 in a bank, bank's not going to keep all 100 in their vault. They're going to put that money, they're going to turn right around and loan that money out to somebody. They're going to charge interest. That's how they make money. That's how banks do business. Okay, without that, we would have no banks. So in order for a bank to be stable, it must keep a certain amount of cash in the vault to give out to customers or for emergencies and things like that. And the reserve requirement, which is currently pretty low, about 3%, can be raised in times of where there's a concern that there needs to be more cash on hand for the banks. So the Fed sets that. It's called the reserve requirement. Now, since banks don't have to keep it all, they can turn around and loan it out. And so this actually increases the money supply. So here's how it works. You don't have to copy this, but just get a sense of this works. You know, um, our government creates $1,000. Okay, and again, remember we have a 10% reserve requirement. So the Fed puts $1,000 into Citibank, and they use it to pay for their bills and things like that. And again, our government has increased the money supply by $1,000, and they can just do this electronically. Just credit the amount, and then the idea is keeping 10%. Citibank would then take $100 and leave $90 in the vault, and or could leave $100 in the vault, and they'd loan out the rest. So That's where they've essentially increased the money supply to 1900. It's not just $1,000 that's circulating now. There's 1900 that's circulating. So theoretically, the bank is holding $1,000, but they're being allowed to loan out 90% of it. Okay, so and we can see as iteration grows through as people do business with different banks, every time a loan goes out, people put money in the bank. And this is one of those things where banks can turn right around and loan that money out again. And so, in this situation, $1,000 has become $3,400 just in a couple of steps of loaning money out. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Just a historical example, Roman Empire, very complicated thing. One of the things they always sort of, study is, what caused the fall of the Roman Empire. Honestly, it's amazing it lasted as long as it did. So maybe that's a better question. What caused it to last so long? But this is an important thing to see that a denarii, the Roman silver coin, and again, 1 pound of silver originally made 84 coins. And so the idea is over time, there was less and less actual silver in that. And so we get the sense of it isn't as worth as much as time goes on. And there gets to be a situation where Rome is deflating the denarii. They're making it worth less over time by creating more and more of it. And so there comes a point where they can't even pay their bills. And that puts them into a situation of weakness, particularly with people that they're trying to hire to fight their wars.